Good morning, everybody. I'm Natalie Carr. I'm one of the designers here at Sea Pointe.
And I'm Aaron. How are you guys?
We're so excited that you guys are here this morning. We are going to reveal one of our projects that we just finished. It's all about kitchens today, one of our favorite things to design.
Yeah.
So we're happy that you guys are going to be here with us, and hopefully you'll learn something. So let's get started. There's Aaron and I in the kitchen that we just finished. We'll get back to that later.
Because everyone's kitchen has two amazing models in it and completely staged.
So we're going to kind of walk you guys through a project, like I said, that we just finished. But why would you listen to Aaron and I? We've both been interior designers for forever and a day. We weren't going to tell you how long, because that would give away our age. But we here at Sea Pointe, we are a design build firm, and we're going to kind of explain what that means. We've been serving Orange County since 1986. So if you can do the math that quickly, it's about 36 years. Mm-hmm. We specialize in room additions, kitchens, bathrooms, whole home. We kind of do it all. And one thing that we're really proud of here at Sea Pointe is that half of our business is past clients and referrals. So it's kind of a testament to we're doing something right.
Stand the test of time. So today's fun topics are how to plan your project, architecture and engineering, kitchen features, and we'll do kitchen remodel reveals, which is the Lord project, which Natalie and I just completed, and then a lot of fun kitchen inspirations.
That's always the fun part. So at the end of this, after we show you guys the Lord's kitchen before and after, we'll walk you through some other projects of some of our work here.
Some really amazing transformations.
So let's talk about planning your project and kind of the first steps of how you get started. Say you've decided, okay, I'm ready to go. I want to redo my kitchen. What are the first things that you need to do? One of the first things I would say is you need to set realistic expectations. I mean, we all love our Chip and JoJo shows, but your kitchen will not be done by the time you're done with your glass of wine.
And in 30 minutes.
Yes. And also, we live in Southern California, and, I love watching those shows and what you can get for your money in other states. But unfortunately, we don't live in those other states. And here in California, things do cost a bit more money. So you need to have realistic expectations.
We also want to, you also have your project options. There's the DIYers, which are your do-it-yourselfers. You can work with a contractor, or you can select a design build firm, which Sea Pointe is. So then when you work with a contractor, obviously you see there, you're the happy couple in the middle. You're kind of the center of that universe. You are in charge of hiring that general contractor, who hires subcontractors. You are in charge of coordinating your architect, your interior designer, your structural engineer, and all of your material purchasing to get all of that to your general contractor. So when you work with a design build firm, you can see that you're the happy couple to the far left, and you're finished an amazing kitchen. Natalie and I, or any of the designers here at Sea Pointe, take on all of those other responsibilities. We are the design consultant. We are your project manager. We coordinate all of your materials and deliveries. We coordinate all of your structural engineering and your architects to make sure that your project goes smoothly and without hiccups. There are some key considerations that you want to go through. You always want to know, whoever you hire, that there's the importance of insurance. You want to make sure that they have liability insurance, property insurance, that they're bonded, and that they have proper workers' compensation. You can check that all out there at that website that you see there on the right-hand side, just to make sure whoever you choose to hire has all of these.
One little thing to note, guys, that I forgot to say at the very beginning is that there's some really good information that we're going to be displaying in our little slideshow here. And there's also a chat box. And so if you guys have any questions, just type them in. And at the very end, Aaron and I will do our very best to answer your questions. But there is great website information and things like that in those chat boxes as well. So check those out. The other thing that you want to make sure is that whoever you're hiring is licensed. There are 43 different classifications of licenses, from plumbers to, a general contractor, which is licensed to do basically everything. So you want to make sure whoever you're hiring is licensed to do the work that you're contracting them for. So a good example would be, if you had a new water heater put in, the plumber comes and does that, but he has to drill through your roof to vent it, but a rain comes and now your garage is flooded. Well, you're not going to call a plumber to fix your roof. So you want to make sure that whoever you're hiring is specialty or has at least a general contractor's license.
Then the importance of references. References are very important in our industry. You want to make sure that the last projects, whoever you hire, have gone successful. You want to be able to talk to people if you choose. See pictures. You want to be able to look them up. You can see here, so Sea Pointe has several, references here, like Best of Orange County, House, Yelp, all of those. You just want to make sure that you do a little bit of your homework on those.
Yeah, it's no different than, if you were hiring somebody for your company or hiring a babysitter, you would always want some sort of a reference. And don't be shy to, even if, some of these smaller contractors may not be nationally recognized, and that's okay. But at least see if they would let you come and see a job site, because I don't know, to me, that's a good representation of how they're going to be respecting your home, is how clean their job sites are. Is their music blasting? Are there cigarette butts, on the floor? If that's how they run their job site, that would be a good indication that I may need to do some more digging and hire someone else. So never be shy to ask to go by a job site.
This is the fun chart that we unfortunately need to show you guys. 63% of construction companies fail by year 5. So you can see there that very faint green line at the bottom, that is construction. So you want to make sure that someone you hire is going to be around, has been around for a while. They're not going to, go out of business and resurface, 10 days later as somebody else. So really, really do that homework on, whoever you're selecting. And then warranties. Warranties are a really big part of the construction industry. The California standard is a 1-year warranty on all of your workmanship. Here at Sea Pointe, we go way above and beyond that. And we offer a 5-year warranty on all of our workmanship. So we want to make sure that we do your project right, that it's done the way you want it, and that you're getting, a very high-end product at the end of the day. So again, Sea Pointe's been in business 36 years. We've done over 2,800 remodels. And then once you're a client, you're always a client. So we treat you like family.
The other thing to be considerate about is that you are going to need permits. It's funny to me that a lot of people get scared by permits. It's what it really is an insurance policy that whoever is doing the work is doing the work the right way. An inspector does not come running through your home and go, hey, where'd you get this water heater? You didn't have this permitted. He doesn't care. He's there to inspect the work that is being done right now. So whoever you hire to do the work, make sure that when they're pulling their permits, that they're pulling it in their name. You would never pull your own permit because, again, it's an insurance policy. So the permit needs to be under Sea Pointe, because Sea Pointe's liable for the work. If somebody tells you to pull a permit, run the other direction.
Mm-hmm. We also do have to, in the state of California, do lead and asbestos testing. It is state mandated and it is enforced. A lot of people get very nervous with lead and asbestos and abatement. It only has to occur in the area that we're working on. So if you're only doing a small powder bathroom, we only have to test that area. And let's say you do become positive, it only has to be abated there. It used to be that people thought they'd have to tear everything out in their entire house. That's not the case. It's only in the area that you're actually physically working in.
And lead and asbestos is not harmful if it's not disturbed. So, and it kind of supersedes the demo anyway. So say you tested hot for lead and asbestos, or asbestos in your drywall in a little powder bath. Well, they have to get rid of that drywall pretty much anyways. Mm-hmm. So we just contain it a different way and we all move on in a happy little direction. Mm-hmm. So, and
then there's also the HOA. A lot of people in California, live in an area that has a homeowners association. Homeowners associations will not speak to us directly. They only will deal with the homeowner, but we do help you guys through that entire process by getting together the packet, whatever's in your CCNRs, those type of things. We make the process easy, but you as the homeowner are going to have to speak directly to the HOA.
Okay, let's move on to fun stuff. Are you guys ready? Now that all of that is gotten out of the way, let's talk about the Lord project too. So the very first thing that we do when we're talking about a kitchen or a bath remodel is that we want to come out and see your space. You can tell me over the phone that you have the ugliest kitchen in the world and that you want to remodel, but I need to see it and see what's possible. So that is the very first step. It's always complimentary, but one of our designers from Sea Pointe would come out and actually see your space and talk about, you know, your wishes, your hopes, and what
dreams.
you want, and dreams and what you are envisioning for the space and what we are envisioning for the space. So that's step one.
So we'll now go into the design build process. So when you work with Sea Pointe, we work together. We compile your budget range. A lot of people always have a range in mind. But again, that's the designer's job here at Sea Pointe, is to kind of guide you in that process because sometimes it may be unrealistic. Sometimes it might be overzealous. So we just want to make sure that it's what it actually needs to be. There are design fees per your project scope. They're based individually. There's not just one standard set fee. Because if you're doing a powder bathroom, that price is way different than if we're doing, you know, 6 bathrooms, a kitchen, you know, a California room, whatever we're doing, those fees vary.
I'm going to interrupt him just for
Sure.
a second. When we're talking about design fees, guys, we're not talking about Aaron and I's hours. We don't work that way. And this is for your renderings. And we'll show you, because we're going to be talking about kitchens today, we'll show you what that means, but it's the space plan and the 3D color renderings and all of that stuff.
Then we all look at each other and go, yep, we're going to do this. You sign on that dotted line, and then we start the process.
Oh, we get this a lot.
Let's just skip this part.
How much do kitchens cost? Honestly, guys, it's a difficult question, because that's like saying, how much does a car cost?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you want a Range Rover or you want a Kia.
That's quite the range.
Right. Well, how many bells and whistles are we talking about? How big is your kitchen? Are we knocking down walls? How many rollouts do you want? So it's a very difficult question, but typically we give ballparks right out of the gate, because we can look at a kitchen and say, okay, after discussing this even for 10 minutes, I can tell you you're going to be probably in this range. So yeah, it's kind of subjective. But it is good to know where your money goes when it comes to a kitchen, because a kitchen is very different than like a bathroom remodel. In bathroom remodel, there's hardly any cabinets. In a kitchen, it's 50% of your budget. And so I always say to my clients, well, this will kind of help gauge what you think it's going to cost you, because when you are taught for every linear foot, kind of think of cabinets as putting in a dresser. Do you buy your dresser at IKEA, or are you looking to buy a dresser from like Restoration Hardware? And that will help kind of go, okay, well, I want to invest this much in my kitchen. So that kind of helps, because I mean, we're looking at floorings only 12%, countertops are only 14%, but that cabinet cost it's a significant.
It's your big
one.
chunk of your cost in a kitchen,
Yeah.
for sure. And then there's custom cabinetry plays a role in a cost. So you can there's actually 3 different types, excuse me, of cabinetry. There's stock cabinetry, which we use that in typical areas like a garage or maybe a laundry room, something like that, where it's not necessary to have like specific sizes where we can tweak them. Then there's semi-custom cabinetry, which does give us that allowance of changing depths and widths and some heights, those kind of things. And then there's pure custom. So usually I would say probably 95% of our clientele do a semi-custom, so that we can have those little variances that we need, you know, so that we don't have fillers, that we don't waste space, so that, in a kitchen, you want to utilize every inch you possibly can. So you don't want to be stuck with a stock cabinetry where you have, 3-inch fillers or a 6-inch filler or whatever. That adds up quickly, and you've lost a foot to 2 feet of your kitchen storage space with just fillers, because you're limiting yourself to a stock cabinet.
Right. The cabinets that we use here at Sea Pointe, I really love them because I'm able to increase those sizes by a quarter of an inch if I want to, so that, just like Aaron said, that we can really utilize the space of your kitchen without wasting it with fillers. It also gives you a large range of different styles, different colors. We're not limited to, hey, you either get white or gray, or shades of white and gray.
Just say, or white or gray.
Or how about white? Oh, maybe gray.
I want gray. What about white?
So we do have a lot of options, and we can mix and match. We can make the island blue. We can make, the perimeter white, different shades of white. So we do have a lot of options. And then there's a lot of options as far as what can go in the interior of the cabinets as well.
You can do spice pullouts. Some people like silverware, separator. Some people want a whole broom closet. There's a lot you can do. But again, these are the kind of things you have to think about when we're setting those realistic expectations, that the more bells and whistles you add, the more the cost of your kitchen increases.
Again, if we're talking about in reference like to a car, it's, do you want the car fully loaded? Do you want, the speakers and the this and the that? And the more you add, the higher the cost. So that's also part of our job here at Sea Pointe, is not to make your kitchen gorgeous, but to be guardians of your budget, and to make sure that we don't spiral out of control, and then you end up being disappointed because you can't afford the things that we said you could have. So we set those realistic expectations pretty early on in the process.
Again, we kind of talked about this already, the semi-custom cabinetry. We'll just touch on it again. There's expanded choices of styles, the best value and quality. We can do size modifications, flexibility. And then again, I do want to touch on this because I didn't touch on it before, that we do use a catalyzed conversion varnish finish on all of our cabinetry, which means it's a baked on finish, which makes it highly durable. Obviously, if you throw something very heavy at it, it will damage it. But for the most part, it will withstand the test of time, kids, all of that. And they do come with lifetime warranties. And then custom cabinetry, as you can see this kitchen, pictured on the left, that is extreme custom. It does have that varnish on it. There are unlimited styles and finishes. You can do unlimited modifications. It is a very, very high quality material and craftsmanship. And it does come with those lifetime warranties as well.
However, the cost is definitely significantly higher than a semi-custom. So
correct.
That's something that we talk about early on in the process as well.
Yep. And then there's also tile options. Obviously, here is a mosaic stone, which you can use, on a backsplash. You could use it on the floor. I wouldn't recommend it for a kitchen floor, just because there's so much grout involved in it.
It will get filthy.
Yes.
There's also glass. The nice thing about glass is it's got a translucent sort of quality to it, and it comes in literally every shade imaginable.
Yeah.
There are unlimited options on the colors that glass comes in. So that's definitely something that we could use.
Then there's also porcelain. Actually, this image is from the kitchen that Natalie and I just finished. Porcelain it's amazing. It comes in every color, every shape, every size. It can look like wood. It can look like stone. It can look like, on here you can kind of see in those shadows, it can look like a woven fabric. It comes matte. It comes glossy. It's
the chameleon of the tile world, and really can take on anything.
It can be used on walls. It can be used on floors.
We use it almost primarily in showers, because it does, I'm going to sound scientific, it has a denser molecular structure, so it doesn't hang on to water.
Yep.
So it's great for backsplashes and showers.
Yep. Let's talk about countertop options. So engineered quartz is a huge factor in today's kitchens, because you don't have the maintenance issues that you have with a natural stone. It won't pit, it doesn't scratch.
You don't have to seal it.
Yeah.
You don't have to baby it.
It doesn't stain, all of those things. It is heat tolerant, but you cannot put a scalding hot pot on it. It could leave a ring, but it will tolerate some heat. But it comes in every color, and it does have every option of a lookalike granite, a lookalike marble, pretty much everything.
One thing to be kind of mindful though, is that a lot of people will go up to State College Boulevard and go, oh my gosh, I got this smoking deal on this quartz and it was hardly anything for these slabs. What's happening is that that's because it has a higher plastic content than stone. So quartz is made from real quartz stone. It's ground up into a fine powder and it's mixed with pigments and resins. But you can get cheap quartz that has more resin than stone in it. And what will happen is that that can yellow over time. And it can also, if you put anything hot on it at all, it will melt the plastics in it. So you want to be really mindful. Like we really are very particular about the type of quartz and these styles that we provide to you here at Sea Pointe, because we want to make sure that it's lasting. So just do your homework. And if it seems too good to be true that you got a slab for a few $100, it's because it's too good to be true. And be careful. So
don't put it in the light.
Yeah. Close all your windows.
Then there's natural stone. This is actually a quartzite right here. Quartzite is absolutely gorgeous. It is one of the hardest stones out there. It does have a very high cost value to it, but it is stunning. You will have the maintenance issues of, if it's polished, you're going to have to maintain that. It does come honed, but it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, we do use, I would say 90% of our projects we use quartz, but we do get to use some natural stones.
And then marble. Everyone knows marble.
You really have to be careful with marble. I would give anything to have real marble countertops in my house, but I wouldn't do it because if you get a drop of acid, meaning lemon juice, red wine on it, it will immediately take the finish off. And it's very hard to get it back once it's been destroyed like that. You have to really baby this. I mean, if someone says they want real marble countertops, we have to have an intervention and an interview.
We're going through an interview process.
Yeah. Do you like red wine or lemons? Then no. So just be aware that it does have its downfalls, but they do make quartz that looks like real Carrara marble. So that's where we take you.
Shall we go into planning and design, which is the project we are going to show you?
Yay, we're finally here. Let's talk about a real kitchen that we just finished.
This is the fun stuff.
The Lord project was so much fun for us. We just adored them. They were a young family and they have 4 little boys that are under the age of 7. Yes. And their kitchen was the size of a pantry. It was so tiny. We'll show you their before picture.
So they wanted and needed a larger functioning space. They both wanted a open concept because this does open up to their family room, which it didn't before. And obviously they do have the 4 boys. So our client wanted an easy space to be able to feed them, cook dinner, all of that, but also be involved with them if they're like watching TV, doing homework, all those kind of things. They also needed a larger pantry because we will show you how small it was before.
Yeah.
A better flow, and then a cohesive functioning design because their kitchen before, and I'm just going to be honest, was really sad. It was a sad kitchen.
It was very dark. You had tiny little entrances on the one end and a tiny entrance into the dining room. So it was dark and it had no island. There was no counter space. It was just not functioning for their family. And we're going to show you those before pictures now.
So here you go. Here was their before kitchen. So it was, like Natalie said, it was dark. As you can see, there's only 3 can lights over the sink. The lighting was horrible. You can see the open pantry right there. That was it. That was the extent of her storage. To feed all of her kids, her entire family, she had this small makeshift kind of corner unit table. And she was like, I have too many kids. I have, technically she had 5 boys, including her son, including her husband. So she's like, I have no room. Yeah. She goes, I eat standing. So
we're going to show you guys now the process that it takes to go from something like this to the picture you just saw before.
And I'm going to go back one. I just want to interject. If you can see in this far left picture, the one that has, you can barely see the refrigerator and the range. Just keep in mind while you're looking through these pictures, that entire wall went away.
It had to. It was just, it wouldn't have functioned.
Yeah.
So again, with our process, we started with, Aaron and I went to the house and we talked to them about what she wanted. We then had them sign a design agreement, meaning that we're going to give you a budget range, to take out the wall and redo your kitchen. You're going to fall between this number and this number. Once you say yes to that, we start selecting all the materials. We start designing the kitchen. We're getting more and more and more specific. By the time you get to your actual final agreement, we know how many can lights, we know exactly how many rollouts, we have designed the whole thing, including the backsplash, and now you know how much it's really going to cost.
Then we ramp it up, we go into permitting, and then demo begins, they start building, and then sit back and relax. It's kinda.
Let's be honest, it's still construction. I don't know if you're relaxing when it's a complete war zone downstairs and it's banging and hammers every day, but we don't start demo until we have all your cabinets, because we don't want to tear out your kitchen any longer, make you without a kitchen for any longer than you have to be. So it goes kind of fast. It's about 8 weeks for a kitchen.
So here's an as-built. This was their actual kitchen. You can see it there in red. So you can see how it was enclosed. It didn't flow into their family room. It was not functioning for their lifestyle.
We did have a few obstacles. We have this stair here. So if you see this tiny pantry, we really wanted to give them a bigger pantry. And one of the things we were contending with is there's that staircase. So what we actually did is we bumped this wall out in design and put the pantry here, and then it went back in here. So it's all these little things that we're trained to think like this and to come up with solutions. So that's the fun part of our job.
So here you can see, like Natalie just said, here was their proposed kitchen plan. And you can see to the right where we did bump that out, and we tried to create a cohesive pantry area, integrating their old existing pantry with a brand new functioning pantry for her. So she in a sense got 2 big pantries in this new design. And then she got this incredible island all filled with storage and a ton more cabinetry.
Part of our process, and we were talking earlier about, there is a little fee attached to a kitchen. It's for all of this. Our cabinet girls work really hard. After we've designed it and decided where everything goes, they put the nomenclatures that coordinate with every single little cabinet all in drawings. It's not really optional, because the guys build your kitchen off of these drawings. So around the room we go, front and back of islands, and then they also come up with the color renderings. In this, I think it might be our computer. I don't know what it looks like on your side, guys, but this looks black. It's actually, their island is blue, but that's okay. We want you to be able to really envision the space. We never want you to feel like, hey, here's your fixer-upper, and you're guessing the whole time. You want to actually be able to see what this looks like. So there's that wall that we bumped out and turned into a forward pantry, their fridge, their appliances, and all of these renderings have the appliances that you select are in these renderings.
And then here again, just as another view of the kitchen, you can see what your flooring looks like, what your backsplash is going to look like, all of your cabinetry, and all of the time and design, all the hard work all goes into these so that you are comfortable. And you, like Natalie said, it's not here's your fixer upper and look what we did. You're very, very involved in this. And again, like our client here with those small boys, we had to think a lot through that. Like, where does she keep, little plates for them? Where do the sippy cups go? Where's the snacks? Where's this? So it was a lot to make her family function in the kitchen that she needed.
But these renderings are not just also like, oh my gosh, isn't it pretty? We make changes on paper. It's much less expensive to make changes here. You may thought you have loved this backsplash in the showroom, and then you see it in a rendering and go, oh, it's too much. So we make changes on paper rather than out at your house. There's another view. We did make some changes over here, is that we added an ice maker and we added a beverage fridge to turn this part into like a coffee bar kind of a thing. So we did make some changes to this original drawings.
And there's your after. So you can see, like Natalie was just talking about, how we did add that beverage fridge down there on the end, turn that into a whole coffee bar area. We will show you in a later photo where you can see that where the ice maker was, it's actually right, like one over from that drawer bank. Natalie and I are big proponents of light. You can see that there's glass front uppers. We do like to have sources of light in different areas. It adds to the overall aesthetic and feel of a kitchen. So You can see here, we also integrated, this was more than just a kitchen. It also went into their family room. We did change out those windows to the left there, those big doors.
We also changed out their kitchen window too, which was really, it was tiny. It was only one of these. And
Yeah.
so we added another window and really made it light and bright and a cohesive space for them.
And we changed their whole fireplace that you can see there in the background. So it was more than that, because you do have to think about the whole space sometimes, because we call it designer domino. Sometimes when you take out a wall and you just want to do the kitchen, it does affect other areas. So this actually, there was a whole area in this house. There's actually a laundry room and a powder bath that all got integrated into this entire project. So they all had to cohesively go together.
Now we're starting on the upstairs.
Yes.
Phase 2. So just another picture of like the glass front cabinets, but how light and bright and just user friendly. This is the ice maker. We put a cabinet on it. But yeah, it just, now it functions. And there's the pantry. Hooray.
So you can see how we integrated it all in. The single door to the left was her existing. So she got a couple more feet onto that. And then we created another large functioning pantry for her next to it. But we wanted to make sure all those doors integrated with each other and looked cohesive.
Lots of storage, we don't believe in dead corners and not utilizing every single
Space.
and every inch that we possibly can. So we took a lot of time in design to make sure that this functioned for their family.
Mhm.
Isn't that fun?
So now let's see some more fun before and after.
You're going to see a lot of dark kitchen, and I'm sure there's going to be some of you that are going, oh my gosh, that looks just like mine.
Yes.
But you know, that's the fun part of it, right?
So this kitchen, as you can see, is a very, very dark kitchen. A lot of you may have this kitchen style. It was very, very popular. Tumbled stone, dark floors, dark cabinetry, granite countertops. And this client is very, very girly.
Very glam. We love her.
Very,
but
very glam. And
she
this
is
is
very specific.
And this is an example of a fully custom kitchen where everything was created to her taste and her taste only. So drum roll, Natalie, push the button. There you go. So you can see that you could take a, dated kitchen that you're not happy with and turn it into your absolute custom.
This was Barbie's dream kitchen.
Yes.
It was a super fun project, but it's not an everyday thing that we do this.
This is not an everyday person's kitchen.
Yes.
She was very specific on what she wanted. And what is kind of interesting about this is this kitchen is cooked in 3 times a day, every single day.
Yeah, it is.
So
let's do another one here. You might go, oh, that looks just like my kitchen. This is pretty common. Again, dark, 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 dark. Let's lighten it up.
is that dark?
That's dark, dark, dark. And this is the after. And we like to do a lot of, like mixing of materials, woods, different color. Just because you say, I want a white kitchen doesn't mean that it has to be white everywhere.
Mhm.
We can, put in some wood and different elements to make it really interesting.
This has that pop of blue underneath the island. You've got the wood tones, you've got the white, you've got the really pretty quartz countertop.
Mhm.
So
Let's do another one. Okay. Here's another before. Same thing. We have a theme rolling today.
We have brown cabinets, black countertops. They were big in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, because everyone thought they would hide all of the dirt. And then they found out that it shows everything. So here's an example of a white kitchen. So you can go from complete darkness to complete bright and white.
But one of the things that I just loved about this kitchen is that this makes it look like a furniture piece. So even though our cabinets are technically semi-custom, we can really create almost anything because of the modifications that we're able to do and still stay within budget, which is very important.
Mm-hmm. So here's a white kitchen.
It still is very dark.
Because they use the black countertops.
Just lighting is so important. And I think it's something that a lot of designers kind of overlook sometimes, and people just in general overlook is the importance of good lighting. So we do spend a lot of time in design going over lighting plans, under cabinet lighting, in cabinet lighting, overhead, natural, task lighting. It's really important.
And here you go. That's what good lighting and a redesign can do. Also, you want your eye to land on fun, points of interest. You can see on the left there's a mosaic backsplash just tucked in there, but it's not the same backsplash that's on the other side. Again, because you want some little jewel items, a lot of times that can be done with the lighting over your island or in a specific backsplash. A lot of times that falls behind the range, but
it gives it more of a custom look. And that's something that we really are mindful to here at Sea Pointe, is that we don't want it to look like a track home. Not that there's anything wrong with a track home, but if you're going to do a remodel, you want to take your time so that it has really interesting custom things in it that make it special and unique and that reflect you and your personal style. Oh, there's our happy client. So it was such a fun project. We had so much fun with them, and we are very thankful. We're going to be starting phase 2 here pretty soon. So yes, we love our job.
So we did have some questions. One of our questions is, where should I save and where should I splurge in my materials? That's a personal thing, because you can save money on a backsplash and splurge on your countertop. Or you can reverse that and splurge on your backsplash and save on your counter. Did I just say that?
I don't know.
Did I say the same thing twice? I think I did.
One thing I would say that I would splurge on is a lighting fixture over your island. When you walk into the kitchen, it is one of the first things that your eye goes to. You can maybe save on appliances, I would say. That's a good point. You don't need Thermador, a 42-inch, Thermador range, when you could get a decor that, may save you a few $1,000s, but is just as great because it doesn't have that name brand to it. So I would say you could save on your appliances, but I would splurge on lighting and good cabinetry.
Okay, another question. What are the most useful design features you've installed in a kitchen? Useful. Well, there's always a spice pull-out. That's very useful. A Lehman swing, which is for the dead corners. Those are extremely useful. Trash pullout, I would say. And pullouts, if you're a big baker, they do have a pullout that you can put your big mixer on that pulls up to counter height, so you don't have to pull out that big mixer from storage or wherever, or keep it on your counter. That's a good one, but I would only use that if I was a serious person to use that all the time. Those would probably be the top ones that I would use. And our last question is, how long will a kitchen remodel take right now?
So with COVID, our cabinets went from, about 5-week lead time to 26 weeks, you guys. We were dying. It was just painful. We're now back to normal, so that's good. But once construction starts, a typical kitchen remodel will take 8 to 10 weeks, unless you're doing something crazy major, like you're removing structural walls. That can add a week. But typically our kitchens here at Sea Pointe take 8 to 10 weeks across the board. It's just a general good rule of thumb.
And again, that does depend on your scope, because your scope could be a small scope or it could be very, very large, and depends on the size of your kitchen.
Yes, but typical rule of thumb.
Yep. So
we have another one. Do you recommend installing skylights in a kitchen, or there should be creative lightings possible to assemble? Do you recommend install? I'm just going to go with the first question. Do you recommend installing skylights? I'm assuming you're asking me because you want more light in your kitchen.
Skylights, no.
They get dirty. Unless you are just, have a roofing guy that's going to go up there and clean them all the time. Within a year, you get a film over them and they look dirty. We have been installing solar tubes a lot lately, and they have square ones or round ones, and they bring in natural light during the day without turning on light switches. They're really cool.
They look like a flush mount light in your kitchen. But again, you can only put them in if you don't have anything above your kitchen. So because they do have to penetrate your roof. So, but they are really cool. And they do give off a lot of light. They can also be used in hallways, those kind of things, a lot of times on a second floor. But if you have a one-story house, they're used a lot too. So
yeah, but just as a general rule of thumb, we haven't really been using a lot of skylights at all lately, just because the maintenance, they leak and they get dirty. All right, guys. Well, we hope you learned something, and we so appreciated you guys being here with us this morning.
Yep. And don't hesitate to give our office a call, or you can check out our website and sign up for a free consultation, or you can put your information in the chat box below, and someone from our office will get back to you to set that appointment.
We hope you guys had as much fun as we did, and Aaron and I will see you guys for another webinar sometime soon.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.